Good day, everyone. My name is John Walter Brown Juat, and I am a high school religion teacher in Paref Northfield School for Boys. And today I will be talking to you about a topic that's very close to my heart: service. My earliest memory of growing in generosity and service was during my childhood when my parents brought us to Holy Mass, and my favorite part would be when they had me a 100 peso bill to place in the collection basket. They never explained specifically that I had to be generous, but it definitely formed me. When I reached elementary school, that was when I clearly remember my mother imposing a small amount of our weekly allowance for charity. When I reached high school, I was exposed to the real life experiences of students in the public schools when I joined my grandmother's foundation to teach catechism. Because of the values that my family have instilled, I realized that I am called not only to serve others, but to serve God and His church as well. This leads me to the heart of my talk, which is the importance of serving in the church. I started serving in the church when I was 10 years old. I decided to become an altar server because I was attracted to the vestments that they would wear, and I like to be the center of attention. However, as the time went by, mass after mass, my intention was purified. I was becoming more in love with the Eucharist, and I feel so much joy every time I serve because next to the priest, I am the closest one physically to Jesus. Indeed, when you are in love, you always wish to be physically close with that person. I eventually received training in the diocese to be a Master of Ceremony, someone who is well versed and will oversee the celebration of the liturgy. I also became a part of the parish youth ministry. I joined many other organizations such as PREX Youth. I became part of the Lectors and Commentators. I joined in the parish choir. Currently, I still serve in many ministries. I am a volunteer teacher in the parish's Catechetical Ministry, reflecting on the gospel and teaching college scholars about important catechism points. I particularly love teaching in the RCIA program, where I prepare those who will receive the sacraments for the first time. I'm also part of the Young Catholic Professionals Ministry, and I am going on my 22nd year of being an altar server. Many people come up to me and say, "You know what? You're too old to be an altar server." Or they joke around that I spend more time in the parish, more than I spend time at home. Or they even tease me that the only organizations I have not joined are the Catholic Women's League, the Mother Butlers, and the Ladies' Charity. But I still serve nonetheless, and here are my personal reasons. First of all, when I serve in the church, I can make the Holy Mass more solemn and ultimately contribute to the holiness of the parishioners. I really, really love high masses with all the beautiful vestments and the vessels used, and when the servers move slowly and reverently. The altar is filled with sweet fragrance from the incense. It is the solemnity of the Mass that allows me to have a really powerful encounter with Jesus. When I serve in the altar and do my part reverently, I help many people encounter Jesus in the Mass. Second, the church is God's family. Just as we can sacrifice so many things for the good of our biological family, we must do the same for our spiritual family. Many people tend to take the faith lightly, because they do not understand the great miracle that happens in each Mass, or that they feel unworthy because of their sinfulness. We have to remember that just as your family is there for you no matter what happens, you must do everything you can as well to be a good member of God's family. Sometimes doubts and insecurities cloud our mind, but it is important to remember that we should not ever leave the church, but the call is to take the faith seriously and lead the church. Third, I can't forget an experience when, after 20 years of serving, during one of the renewal sessions, I would be moved in a powerful way with the speaker sharing. He said, "Every day, God tells us, 'I love you' through the many graces and gifts that He gives. Your service to God and His church, especially through serving in the Holy Mass, is your way of saying, 'I love you too, God.' So do it seriously, do it prayerfully." Fourth, the best gift you can give is the gift of time and presence. These two things are things that cannot be given back, and is a clear proof of how much you value the relationship. There are some people who can simply reply through a text message, but the people willing to go out of their way to be physically with you is the real friend. In the case of the Mass, it is by being physically and mentally present that I can tell God in my heart how much I love Him. Finally, it reminds me that I am not alone and that the faith is a communion of persons. It is comforting to see people coming together, celebrating the same faith. It reminds me of that the church is not just for perfect people, but for everyone who is sincerely trying and struggling to be holy. Now that I've shared my personal reasons, I hope I inspired you to reflect on how you can contribute to the church as well. Let us heed the call of Pope Francis when he said, "My dear young people, the church needs you, your enthusiasm, your creativity, and the joy that is characteristic of you." It is important to remind ourselves of the following in order to inspire us to serve in the church. First, we have to realize that we are all gifted by God with so many talents, and there are many ways in how you can contribute to the church using those talents through the different ministries and organizations. If you're good at singing, join the choir. If you're good at speaking, join the lectors and commentators. If you're good at teaching, then you have the Catechetical Ministry. At any given time, you can contribute to the church by your time, your talent, or your treasure. Definitely, you belong to the church, and the church needs you. Second, because we are part of the mystical body of Christ, we affect each other in a powerful way, whether we know it or not. When we do good, the whole church benefits. When we do bad, the whole church is hurt. Serving in the church is a way to show how much we care for God's family. Third, we have to remember that no act of kindness or service is ever wasted. The little things that we offer with a sincere heart, God can surely make use of that to create miracles. Lastly, many times we feel unworthy to serve, and rightly so because of our sinfulness and weaknesses. But it is so consoling that because of God's infinite mercy and love, no matter how broken and sinful and weak we are, He still chooses us to be His instrument of love in this world. So the call is here. Go and share the joy through your service to God and His church. God bless us all.